Hello everybody, this video is going to help you to find useful sources for your thematic analysis case study report. So there are 5 things or 5 steps to success in doing good research. We're going to look at number 1 and number 5 in this video. So we will look at how to find a valid and reliable source using Google Scholar. And while we're at Google Scholar, we can also make the reference for the reference list quickly and easily. Okay, so we're going to focus mainly on finding reliable sources. So let's look first of all at what kinds of sources you can use in your academic paper. For number 1, you can use academic journal articles, which will be the main focus of this video. 2, you can also use academic books. 3, you can use theses or dissertations. So those are long essays written by students, normally at the master's level or the PhD level. You can use conference proceedings. You can also use official government information and information from international organizations or research organizations. So something like United Nations, World Health Organization, these types of organizations would also be fine. You can find very useful information through the KU library. However, in this video, we will focus on how to use Google Scholar to do your research. And we're going to look at 8 things. First of all, how to do a general or basic search. Second, how you can use quotation marks and the word "and" to refine your search and make it more specific. 3, we will look at the importance of finding a meta-analysis and how this can help you in your research. We will look at how to limit the search by year, how to judge the importance of the research, how to get a PDF copy and why this is useful. We will also look at how to use the Cite button on Google Scholar to do your references quickly. And then finally, we will look at how you can read the abstract and complete the one-to-one essay planning consultation document. So let's get right into it and look at the first one. How do you use Google Scholar to do a general search? So we just type the words Google Scholar. You can see that I've already used it today. So we'll type the word Google Scholar, and I'm going to search for Pilates. So this was the topic of the wellness journal that we coded. So if we search for a very general search for Pilates, we immediately find 123,000 articles. So that's how you do a general search. But of course, we're going to want to make it more specific. So if we write the word "and" in capital letters, and then a more specific focus for our research, so something like Pilates and health benefits. So now it's going to search for both of those terms in the same article. We search for that and we get 8,000 results. So we can see here the different types of article. This one has a PDF, for example. The others here also have PDFs. This will be a HTML link. So we want to look, I think, first of all, for a meta-analysis. So I'm going to write the word meta-analysis. So a meta-analysis will analyze a lot of papers. So it's a general overview of all the research. So this is a really useful place to begin because it can help you to familiarize yourself with the research context very, very quickly. So we've immediately found an article here that looks very useful. It says the effects of Pilates on mental health outcomes, a meta-analysis of controlled trials. So we were not doing a controlled trial, but this I think is going to be a very useful article for us to read. So we can click the link here, and then I would recommend looking at the abstract and perhaps the conclusions here you could read. And then I would quickly skim through the article. So we have the introduction, which has background and contextual information about the history of the practice. Also, there will be some information to contextualize the research there. So I quickly see that there's this nice meta-analysis flow chart, and we can see that the information is broken down very simply and clearly. So we have the names of the researcher on the left and the main findings in the table. So this is going to be very useful to me, I think, in my research. So I find the information that is relevant to the themes that I produced and the themes that I'm going to analyze in the report. So I can find the researchers' names by checking the number here in this case, and then going to the reference list at the end, which will list all of the articles and give their full details and the links to those articles. So that's a very useful way to start your research. But of course, you can't always find a meta-analysis. So let's go back to Google Scholar. And then let's look at another way we can approach this. So we have the themes that we generated from the diary. So doing searches that relate to your themes is obviously going to be very useful. So the first main theme here was core strength and flexibility. So let's see if we can find information under that on Google Scholar. So let's search for that and see if we get lucky. Okay, unfortunately, it seems to have found some books. So maybe we've got too much specificity there. So maybe we'll do a more general search in this case. Okay, and it seems like this one, integrating Pilates-based core strength into older adult fitness programs. So that's older adults. It might not be useful. This one focuses on karate players, so it might not be directly useful. This one could be useful for many of you. It just talks about females, so that's relevant for most of you. So of course you need to read the articles and make sure that it is relevant to you. So this one says the elderly. So again, I don't think that's going to be useful for most of you. We can also refine the search by the year. So if we want to make sure that we have up-to-date research, we can use this option here. The more recent article will be useful in many cases because it will provide an overview of the previous research. So of course, a useful article, an up-to-date article will be great because it can overview the whole of the research field. So this information will either be in the introduction or sometimes in the first section of the paper, which will be called the literature review. So if you check back to the introduction, or this will be in the next video, sorry, what you need to include in your introduction, it says you need to include the wellness practice, why you chose it, why it's relevant to well-being, use credible secondary sources to contextualize the wellness program practice, and also to show how it fits into the research context. Yeah, that's the second one I said there. So the introduction or the literature review at the start of the paper will also be very useful. So if you cannot find a meta-analysis, try finding a paper with a literature review, which will overview the general research on the topic, and then you can find the relevant articles from that. So check the citations in the paper, check the reference list at the end, and that should help you to speed up your research. But let's go back to this search here. So we search first for core strength, and then we can check the number of citations. So let's go back a bit later to 2021, and we want to find the articles with the most citations. So these don't have many citations. This one has 14. That seems to be the most. So of course we need to check the title and make sure it's relevant. But this is also a way that you can make sure this one has 29. So maybe this could be a good article. So again, we check the title. This one has multiple sclerosis in it. So it's probably not going to be useful in your research. The title here looks quite useful. Effectiveness of Pilates-based exercises on core strength and posture in sedentary adults. Actually, many of us would qualify or be similar or adjacent to the category of sedentary adults. It's people that don't do much exercise. So I think in this case, you could probably use this article because it's not about people with a specific medical condition. It's more about a lifestyle that they have. And we notice it doesn't have any citations, but it is a recent paper, so I think we can go ahead and read this one. So we get the PDF. It's always useful to get the PDF copy because we can highlight the sentences. It should speed up the research process. We don't need to take notes and copy everything down. So in this case, I would probably start with the introduction and see if it's relevant, or read the abstract and see if it seems to have relevant information for my research. So you don't need to read everything in the article at this stage, of course. Read the abstract. So the abstract is the summary of the article at the start. Perhaps read the introduction or the first paragraph or two in the introduction if there isn't an abstract. Make sure that it's relevant to your research question or the themes produced in your thematic analysis. Upload the PDF into your folder before the interview, or copy the reference for the article and put it onto the essay planning document. Okay, so let's just close this window and go back to the information about finding sources and make sure that we've covered everything. I can see number 7 we need to do. So look for articles with a cite button to speed up the referencing. So this is the cite button here. You can then copy and paste the link to the article. This is the cite button here. Again, APA 7 is the style, so you can copy and paste it. So this will speed up your research. You can copy and paste those onto the essay planning document if you want, or just upload the PDF into your folder. So remember, the essay planning document says 4 articles. So those 4 articles, I think, could and should focus on the 2 themes that you developed. They should definitely have information about the 2 themes that you want to write about. Also, maybe they could be used to provide information for the introduction. So we were looking at things like history, so putting the wellness practice into the context of its cultural, spiritual, historical context. Maybe also you could provide information about the general purpose and health benefits of the activity. So finding an article that includes that type of information would be really good as well. So you're looking for articles that are related to the specific themes of your writing. It may be necessary to change the themes that you want to write about to make sure that you can find research articles. So perhaps when you finish the final stage of your theme generation review and then finalizing the themes, perhaps it's good to have more than 2 themes at the end, so you can just make sure that you can find specific articles more quickly and easily. So if you have, let's say, 4 themes at the end of your thematic analysis, then it will be easier to find themes. If you have only 2, you may not be able to find the research paper as quickly and easily. So also think about this when you're finalizing the theme in stage 5. Just make sure that you can actually find useful research articles about your theme. Also find articles which put the research into a context. So this is why the meta-analysis can be very useful, or reading a paper with a literature review can also be very useful here, as I mentioned. Reading the introduction to the paper will also help you to write your own introduction. So those are some guidelines about things that you should be thinking about. Most of the information in your report that you include from research will be in the introduction. Some of it will probably also be in the main body paragraphs, where you explain or give evidence for those themes. So this will be explained in more detail in the next video, in which I tell you how to write and organize the paper. Okay, so hopefully we've included all of these 8 points. Let's just check. We showed you how to do a general search. I showed you how to use quotation marks and the word and. We looked at why meta-analysis can help, how to limit the research by year, cited by can help you to judge the importance of the article, why a PDF is good, how using the cite button can help you to do the reference list more quickly. And then we also spoke about why reading the abstract is important. So read the abstract, make sure the article is useful, and then add a link to the document so I can find it easily, or add the reference to the article, or better yet, get the PDF, download it, and upload it into your folder online. Okay, so those are things that you need to do to make sure that your research is at the right level before you meet me for the one-to-one consultation. So good luck in your midterm exams, everybody. The next time I see some of you will probably be online for your one-to-one consultation. So I look forward to meeting you then. Okay, thanks everybody. Goodbye.